When I watch dating shows, and I watch a lot of them, and I see people break off promising relationships because they didn't feel the spark, it drives me crazy. I get so frustrated because you don't need a spark to have a good, healthy relationship. The spark meaning that mysterious butterfly sensation, exciting feeling you get when you're with someone. We think we do, right? That's the common narrative around modern relationships. We have to find someone who we have a spark with. The spark means attraction, right? That's what we hear. But that is actually not what the relationship research shows brings us long-term happiness in love. So today I'm going to be talking about what really makes a relationship last, what really makes a relationship good. And if you're worried about the spark and physical attraction, keep watching. Before I do that, if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Lindsay and I am the Real Love Alchemist. I help you go from bad relationships to real love with the magic of subconscious work. So if you're looking for some one-on-one support and you're ready to break the cycle of toxic relationships and find real healthy love, click on the link in the description. So before we go into what makes a relationship healthy, what makes a relationship truly satisfying in the long run, let's talk about what the spark is. So the spark feeling that you can have when you're with someone is a combination of different things. And you can have one of these going on, or you can have a whole bunch of them going on at the same time. These are things like chemicals in your body, your hormones, your endorphins. It can be something like lust. It can also be something like anxiety and excitement. And it can also be familiarity. A lot of times when we're with someone who is subconsciously familiar to us, we can really feel that spark. And while it's okay if you had healthy relationships in your past, if you didn't have such great relationships, you can feel that spark with people who actually don't make good partners for you. Because like I said, for some of us, if you had really solid relationships in your past, the spark can actually be a really good thing. It can mean you found someone who's familiar to you in a good sense. And I think that's where a lot of our cultural narrative comes from. For a lot of us, that's a good thing. But for a lot of other people, myself included, the spark can be misleading. We can be feeling that spark because, again, there's a familiarity with a certain type of relationship dynamic. And if we had not so great relationships in our past, we can feel sparky with someone who doesn't treat us well. That spark can also be based on things like superficial appearance or chemistry. And let me ask you this question. How many times have you felt a lot of chemistry and big sparks with someone who's narcissistic? So you can have a spark with someone based on some of those superficial things, but then as the relationship deepens, it leaves you with a lack of emotional depth, a lack of emotional intimacy. So just going by the spark is actually not a good strategy when it comes to dating. So what does the research show us about what makes a relationship good, what makes a relationship healthy, satisfying in the long term? Let's get into it. So it's actually not the spark, but it's the qualities that you and your partner bring to the relationship. So the first quality that makes a relationship good is good communication. So the research has shown that couples who can communicate effectively, who can express their needs, who can express their boundaries, and who can resolve conflict in a healthy way have very satisfying long-term relationships. What else does the relationship research show? Trustworthiness. When you trust your partner and your partner feels like they can trust you, that is what creates this stable, solid base for you two to move into the future. That's what makes a relationship satisfying. Another one is compatibility. You share the same values and goals. You want the same things out of life. You can have the biggest spark with someone, but if they want kids and you don't, it's not going to work out. Another important quality the research shows is intimacy, your capacity for intimacy and your partner's as well. This is what we're talking about when we say emotional availability. So the more that you can be available to your partner and your partner to you, that's what makes a relationship satisfying. Another key quality the relationship research shows makes a relationship good is flexibility. Your ability to compromise, to kind of go with the flow when things go wrong, as they will tend to do in life. Life will present us with many different challenges. And if you and your partner can be flexible throughout those challenges, you'll be much more likely to be satisfied and happy long-term in a relationship. And the last thing the relationship research showed creates healthy, satisfying relationships is mutual support. So being there for each other during those inevitable, challenging times that will come up in a relationship. Knowing that your partner is there to lean on and you're there for your partner, vice versa. These qualities have consistently been found to be associated with relationships that are successful, that are happy, and that are satisfying. So I don't know if you noticed, but I didn't see anywhere in there any talk about having a spark, right? That wasn't in there. The research didn't talk anything about that because it's really not that important. So what this research tells us is that if we want a healthy relationship, we have to take the spark way off of that pedestal and put it way down there on the list of our priorities. It's not the most important thing. Now, I know that some of you are probably thinking, but Lindsay, I have to have attraction to someone. I have to feel attracted to them. Yes, you do. Yes, you absolutely do. But I do not equate the spark with physical attraction. For me, two totally separate things. You do need to have some sort of attraction to your partner to make it work long term if you're interested in a physical relationship. But again, I do not equate having this sparky, nebulous sort of feeling with having physical attraction to a partner. There's a quieter type of attraction that you can feel for someone. It's not this huge, in-your-face, spark, boom kind of a feeling. It's softer, it kind of sneaks up on you. But I actually prefer this. I think it's way better than that fast, quick spark. This type of attraction forms from intimacy. It develops from an emotional connection. And I actually much prefer this way. Because this type of attraction, it isn't quick and it isn't short-lived. It lasts. It kind of smolders throughout your life. And again, I prefer this one. I would rather have this than the spark. Because again, sparks are fun, but they don't usually last. That's really the definition of a spark. It's a short burst. It comes and goes. I prefer the slow, steady attraction that builds with intimacy. And I bet you will too. So ditch the spark. You don't need it. Look for these other qualities I talked about. And also look for that other type of attraction, that more slow burning attraction that builds with emotional intimacy. Speaking of physical intimacy, if you want to know why the physical intimacy in toxic relationships can feel so good and feel so intoxicating, check out this video here.